Egypt is known for its beautiful grand tombs, such as the pyramid tombs and tombs in the Valley of the Kings. However, while the tombs in the Valley of the Kings are unique in their ornateness, the bodies of people from lower castes might have ended up in more humble places. People's tombs were built to show how important they were when they were alive. The poor were buried in grave dug out of the sand and covered with straw. These were common in the pre-dynasties, and many bodies were found in the fetal position, wrapped in linen. There would be some grave goods next to the body, like a bit of meat, a necklace of shells, and a pot filled with tunes. Even more impressive and mysterious is how they are built and what they hold inside. In this video, if you're interested, we'll show you the forbidden tombs of ancient Egypt, which surprised the world when they were found, and the recent find is undoubtedly something to wonder about. Until the end, remember to subscribe for more. What style of building was used to build lower in Upper Egypt? Around the reed and timber tomb building found in the tombs of Lower Egypt, located at the downstream end of the famed Nile River, mud bricks were used to line the tombs. It's possible that the reeding wood was painted, and there would have been a low reed fence surrounding the tomb. It wasn't uncommon for 3 to 5 mummies in a grave, leading people to speculate that the deceased were members of the royal family or laborers for the royal court. Various kinds of tombs can be found in the northern part of Egypt. The walls of this chapel were going to be decorated with paintings of leaves or hieroglyphics that depicted how the aristocrats lived their lives and how the fertile fields grew food for them forever and ever. The same thing was also carved into the coffins, typically taken from the Book of the Dead, to provide the deceased with protection and direction as they made their way to the afterlife. One such structure is the Pyramid of Dojir, which features a chamber below its surface. The food for the hereafter was kept in this structure, which was also at the top of the main bathroom. Tombs from Egypt's past. Between 1906 and 1936, the Egyptian Expedition Metropolitan Museum's Department of Egyptian Art dug up many sites in Egypt. While working in cemeteries in western, deepest across the modern city of Luxor or Nile River, archaeologists found several tombs belonging to non-rural people. These tombs tell us important things about the lives of ancient Egyptians. These are very interesting and date back to a man from the Middle Kingdom. They lead to the tomb of an official Mikitra employer that has been destroyed. The second one comes from the New Kingdom and is named after a woman. The third belonged to a man named Khonshu, who lived in the middle of the New Kingdom. He was buried in a tomb with several generations of his family. All 3 of these people lived at a fantastic time in Egypt's history. Tomb Amidjajeju and all the other tombs come from the tomb of an official who was in charge of all the secret documents of the royals and the royal chancellery during the reign of pharaohs from the 6th dynasty around 2300 BC. Saqqara found this person during an expedition from the University of Warsaw's Polish Center for Mediterranean Archaeology during an excavation in 2021. Autumn at the dry mode encircled in the step pyramid of King Dozi. Archaeologists say the tomb dated back 4,300 years and was built next to Dozir's step pyramid, which is thought to have been built 4,700 years ago. It wasn't a coincidence that his tomb was near Dozir's step pyramid, the first ever made in ancient Egypt. Djoser was an essential and revered king, and officials wanted him to be buried next to the pyramid, even after he died hundreds of years later. His tomb was called Yet Chekshu, Ref Nibref. The tomb doesn't say anything about family members, but the burial chamber hasn't been changed and is big enough that based on the discovery, it could hold the remains of his family. Images Jeju permitted him to hire skilled artisans to build the tomb. You can tell from the facade that the burial was made by an experienced hand, and the elegance of the lines and the subtlety of the modeling rival the best of two. Unfortunately, the rock where the chapel was built was so eroded and fragile that it needed the help of conservators. Gazijus, the head of the National Museum and Warsaw's conservation team, was in charge of the job. They were rough sketches for carvings. Drawings on the walls showed how the sacrifice animals, like oxen and cows, were led. The unfinished decorations don't mean that Jeju hasn't been laid to rest in his tomb yet. Someone else would have moved in if he hadn't been buried there. Instead, the decorations aren't quite finished, probably because the investor died before the work was done and was buried in the tomb. Archaeologists only found the outside of the tomb, so they couldn't see what was inside. They plan to look inside, where they might find his burial chamber and maybe even his mummy. Archaeologists think Saqqara has been an essential part of ancient Egypt for over 3,000 years. The 5-mile plot west of the Nile River, which is 20 miles south of Cairo, is full of the remains of tombs, temples, and walkways from all periods of ancient Egypt. Since 1850, Saqqara has been the subject of exploration and research. There have been significant discoveries there. At Jeju, archaeologists also found megatombs with large chambers full of mummies, coffins, and other gods. They also found the tombs of Ramesses II, the Egyptian pharaoh's treasury director. Even though the Great Pyramids in Luxor are more famous, these and other discoveries will continue to make headlines. What do you think of the forbidden tombs that shocked the world? Do you believe the tomb was an important thing to find? Let us know in the comments section below, and remember to subscribe for more.